actually sitting down and doing something, my brain's just like
Yeah.
flying.
Yeah, sometimes I'll have like too much caffeine and I'll be listening to music and I'm just dancing for no reason. You know what I mean? Like normally I'd be listening to that song and I'm like, I'm not dancing, but then I'm like got so much energy. You could put me in Footloose or something like that and I'll be good to go.
I'd love to see you in Footloose.
Footloose, cut loose, kick off your Sunday shoes.
Gretchen Wilson, she's back on the scene now. I see her at the Opry every now and then.
Well, they had that group, the Mafia. What did they call it? Something Mafia.
Big and Rich, the music duo. Music, yeah, there's just Music Mafia.
Music
With
Mafia.
a
But
Z.
music was spelled wrong.
Yeah.
It's like such the thing to do in like the 90s and early 2000s.
It really was.
Like, you look at all the rap records.
Like it makes the word like cooler, you know,
Yeah,
just
like-
to look at.
Like
It's
all
like,
of
how do
the-
we make this word
Yeah,
a lot more sick when you're looking at it?
it was like all the rap records from back in the day would just have one like misspelled letter or something like that.
Yeah.
Like Snoop
Or
Dogg
they'd have
with
like
two G's.
Or they'd have like a dollar sign instead of an S.
Yeah. And that was the evolution of it, really, because that came from that like started moving in more in like the mid 2000s. It's like, how do we take this one step further? Let's just put the dollar sign as the S.
Oh,
All right,
shit.
what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? You are listening to a Cross Country Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Anderson Daniels, here live in Austin, Texas. Mr. Corey Wise live in the heart of country music city, Nashville, Tennessee. Corey, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I am doing good today. I'm doing good.
About to go
Caffeinated.
golfing or?
No, you're catching Anderson Daniels in street clothes today. I don't often wear them, but I do have them in the closet.
Well, I tell you what, I wouldn't want to play a game of pickup with you right now.
Yeah, I've probably ever. I was a pretty good hooper. I learned a lot from Dirk Nowitzki and Larry Bird and the White Boys from back in the day. But, yeah, not golfing today. This weekend I am, though. I actually have this month of May off from shows, so I've been taking a few strokes off my golf game, which you don't want to see me on that golf course lately either. I've been hitting the ball pretty well.
I actually do. I'd love to go golfing soon. I got to make it down to Austin.
You do.
so we
We've
can
got a
hit
lot
the
of
links.
We've got a lot of nice courses here. The nicest ones though are like private courses, so it's like you gotta have like an in. It's expensive to play here, dude. Like growing up in the Midwest and like having all those like courses and stuff like that, you get a lot of nice. You take it for granted how many nice courses are around for like a decent price.
Yeah, I noticed that the more south you get, the more like prestigious the courses get, you know, and like the more expensive.
Yeah, for sure, and especially like Arizona. Like we were just in Arizona for a wedding the other day, and we played golf a couple of times. We were out there for a week, and like I go out. I've got a buddy that has lived there for a while, so we go there like once a year to play. And I kind of knew what the prices were gonna be, but it's just like you have to go in with that mindset. Otherwise, you're gonna be like, $150, $200 to play. Like, no thanks. It's like you just gotta
Right.
be like, I'm gonna spend it. You know, it's like going to
Yeah,
Vegas.
that's-
It's going to Vegas and not having money for gambling. You know what I mean?
Unless you can bet on your golf game.
Oh, I do for sure.
It sounds like it's not a good idea for you to do that.
Oh no, it's not a good idea for other people to do that against me.
Oh shit. My bad.
But anyways, this this podcast isn't about sports or golf. We'll probably talk about that. It's about country music across country. We are covering all things from industry insights to current day events to our favorite artists, song structures, all of this good stuff. We're diving in today. Corey, what's the agenda?
Well, we're going to be starting off each episode with Today in Country Music. So I have a few things cooking up here. And Sometimes, some days there's nothing going on. But a day like today, there's a good amount of stuff.
Is there really? Is this was a big day? Because what is it? It's May 14th. May 14th was a big day in country music, huh?
No, it wasn't too big of a day, but I found a good amount of stuff for today. So
It's just an average day where a lot of it's your typical Wednesday of the, of the week. It's just like, hey, nothing's overly important, but there's a lot going on. It's just it's Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, for sure.
So, in 1984, the ACMs
happened today.
Yeah.
How long?
So this one's kind of cool because I have all the winners from this
from 84
year too. Yeah.
That's crazy. So in the ACMs just happened. We'll probably talk a little bit about that, but for folks that know or don't know, there's two big award shows that happen every year in country music. Corey and I don't really pay attention to them very much. It's just kind of more of the mainstream thing, but the ACMs, Academy of Country Music Awards, always happen in the spring, and then the CMAs, the Country Music Association Awards, happen in the fall. So you have the 1984 ACMs, which happened on May 14th, 1984, before we were born.
Right. It was the 19th ACM Awards.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was hosted by Mac Davis, Crystal Gale, and Charlie Pride.
Really? Okay.
Shout out. Like, when I think of these, I'm just like, man, how cool would it have been to be here? Top male vocalist of the year was Lee Greenwood.
That name I do know. Yes. But do you know any other Lee Greenwood songs other than The Hills of Tennessee? Right? That was Lee Greenwood.
Right. Yeah. I think that's like the main focus.
And then he won. How about when was that song released? Because that would have been a staple for him to win it that year, right? From the lakes of Minnesota.
Probably, yeah. When I look him up on Spotify, his top 3 songs are God Bless the USA.
Just different variations of it?
Right. Yeah. Or just like different albums of it.
Dude. Can you imagine having that big of a hit where you like your top 3 songs ever are just different variations of it?
Song. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's good stuff. And it looks like vocal group was Exile.
Really?
Yeah, remember those guys?
A little bit. Not overly familiar. I know the name more so than I probably know their music.
Yeah, they were I feel like they were only big for a small amount of time, but I think they had like a few hits.
I wanna kiss you all over and over and again.
Now that's kind of interesting because
to the night closes in.
Exile's top 3 songs are also "Kiss You All Over," 3 different versions. Now I don't know if there's something going on with Spotify.
That was
or
the
what.
requirement to win an award in 1984. Was that
we look up all these artists and they're all gonna say their top song was
a good way to
3.
test this is look up Frickle and see if we get if we get top 3 songs.
Female vocalist of the year is Gus Hardin. Gus? That can't be right.
I thought Janie Frickle won female.
Oh, top new female vocalist.
Okay. You know, I have seen Gus as a female's name multiple times in the last few weeks, and that's the first times I've ever seen that in my life.
In the past 2 weeks?
Yeah. Is that an album cover there? It is a female, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. She must not have gotten too far after this. Top new male vocalist of the year was Jim Glazer.
You invented the donut, the Glazer donut.
If you're not from the Midwest, you will not understand that reference. He only has one album out in 2004. All right. And then the top vocal duet of the year. Now this one.
This is a name we
you
probably
could
know.
probably guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Duet.
Duet.
A duet. Not a duo. Duet.
It's a song with two. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it Islands in the Stream?
You actually nailed that.
Did I? Hell yeah, dude.
Well, it's the two artists, but
okay.
That's the song. Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton. You absolutely nailed that.
But it's not the song, it's the two artists?
Yeah, it just says top vocal duet of the year, Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton.
So it doesn't tell you the song.
That would be their only
Yeah. Okay.
Duet.
So, shit, I got that right on the nose. That's crazy.
You did. You crushed that.
Dude, I would have thought that would have been a little bit older than 84 maybe. I don't know.
I'm in mid 80s. That's what I would have guessed. Yeah.
Okay. I'm feeling myself this morning.
All right, album of the year. 1984.
Let's see. I'm going to go. Let's see. This is kind of when George Strait was coming about, but I don't necessarily know that he might have won it's not George Strait, is it?
No, it's a group.
It's a group. Is it? Was Alabama winning awards in the country music space then? Yeah. Alabama, baby.
Album of the year. Alabama.
Was the
self-titled.
Self-titled. Okay, so that's a two birds with one stone right there, dude. I'm on fire.
I feel like we should do country music trivia with Anderson today.
Dude, I am a trivia nut. Like, I'm a trivia wizard. And not that I, like, study stuff. I just kind of, like, know useless information that I can kind of pull out of a bucket. You know what I mean?
Right. But Tony can't pull your name out of a bucket.
That's right. I went to, for folks listening, trying to get that reference, I went to Kill Tony 2 days ago. I signed up.
Have it.
Yeah, it's right here. I'm saving this thing. This is my proof that I got some cojones because I signed up for Tony Hinchcliffe to pull my name out of a bucket. And you know what's crazy is, so these tickets to that show, for folks that don't know what we're talking about, it's a comedy podcast, the #1 live podcast in the world. It's basically an open mic night for stand-up comedians, and then there's a panel of super famous comedians that kind of judge you and interview you afterwards. But they sat us front row. The tickets are harder to get than the Super Bowl tickets right now, it seems. Wifey got me tickets for my birthday. We went. They sat us front row, which was crazy. I was right in front of Tony. He let me pick a name out of the bucket, and I was a little bit nervous after I had signed up. We get in line. They sit us front row, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he might ask me to like pick a name out of the bucket, see my wristband, and pull me up on stage. And so that's kind of when the nerves first started setting in, because there's like 300 people that sign up every week, and I was like, probably not going to get picked. But he asked me to pull a name out of the bucket, never asked me to come up or anything like that. I think roasted me for like 30 seconds. We'll find out when the YouTube video comes out.
That's ballsy, dude. That's very ballsy. I was talking to my coworker, and he was like, I can't believe that he's not a comic, and he just signed up for Kill Tony.
I was thinking about it for a while, and I'm like, dude, this might be the only Kill Tony show that I ever get to go to, and like, you're not gonna not. Listen, Corey, you know me. I don't live my life with regrets, and that's something that I don't know that I would have wanted to live with. I don't know if I could have slept at night knowing that I didn't take the chance. So I'm a risk taker. My motto in life is leap and the net will appear. So that was kind of that situation.
That's a ballsy way to live.
It's not for the faint of heart.
All right, we're gonna jump from 84 to 85. All right. 1985. On this day, Dustin Lynch was born.
Okay. And that would make him what, 40 now? 40 today. So it's his it's his 40th birthday today.
Yeah.
All right, happy birthday, 40th. Dustin Lynch, DL.
And then we're gonna move all the way up to 1998. This one's kind of this one's not country, but I just kind of threw it in there because I thought it was interesting. Frank Sinatra died on this day in 98.
In 98.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Frank Sinatra. Moving on to country music, 2011. Nothing much happened in the 2000s. 2011, Blake and Miranda got married.
And in 2012, they changed country music forever.
2013, George Strait releases 28th album, Love Is Everything. Do you remember when that album came out?
I don't know if I think I remember when the album came out, but was that the record that had I Got a Car?
I Got a Car.
Yeah. I remember that song being all over the place, and I remember, George Strait's one of those guys. Hasn't he said he's going to retire like a few different times? He did the Cowboy Rides Away tour, I think probably not long before that, and then came out with the record. He's had a few. What was the other one? Honky Tonk. That came out a couple years after this one, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like there was a few of them after this.
Which he had the Broken Spoke, which is a very notable venue here in Austin, Texas, on the cover of that.
Mm-hmm. That's the one I thought you were talking about at first.
Is that a different one? Honky Tonk Time Machine? Was that what
that's what it was
called? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Trivia, guys. I got the bases covered. Just give me a second.
This one's not country, but 2015, the King of Blues passed away.
B.B. King.
B.B. King, you got it.
I'm gonna be good at these segments, dude. I'm gonna be good at these.
Me too. In 2021, for the first time since COVID-19 shut down the Opry in March of 2020, the Opry was held without a capacity restriction. I remember this.
Oh, okay.
I was working there.
Yes, you are an Opry employee.
Yes.
So that I think about this all the time because COVID kind of happened right as we were. I think you and I are both in similar paths on our career. Like it happened right as we were kind of starting to roll. I know I had released like my first record, and then I was getting ready to release my next stuff and playing some good shows finally after playing the bar scenes forever. And then it was like, oh, everything shuts down, and it kind of felt like boom. But like when you talk about COVID or the pandemic, like it wasn't just 2020. It wasn't just the year 2020. It was like the aftermath of, I would say, like, when do you think everything got back to normal? I mean, not that it really is
23 maybe
never going to be the same, but yeah, it's like when people talk about that era of the entertainment business, right? Because then it was like, okay, we're doing shows, not at capacity. We're doing shows, but you need the vaccine card to get in. Like, and then people were trying to recoup money that they lost during the shutdowns. Like, it was crazy. And it's still, kind of in a weird spot. But when you talk about the pandemic being 5 years ago, right? It's 2025. 2020 was when everything happened. Like, it still feels a little bit like it's kind of like the monkey on your back in a sense.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Which is crazy, right? Because you think about 5 years ago, like, oh, man, that's a long time. But it feels like it was just yesterday when we were doing live streams just to try and make any kind of tips or anything on shows and, like, keep getting music to people. And it's a wild thought to me that, like, that was 5 years ago. But really, it's felt like a much longer thing than just, like, a year-long COVID shutdown, you know?
It definitely was. And the long-term effects from it, I mean, everybody had to redo what they were doing. Like the people that are well known are like well off in the business might not have been if it wasn't for COVID. It might be a different group of people because different opportunities arose and everybody else's, you know, like everybody's opportunities kind of stopped. And then when they went to go pick up again, it seemed like they didn't pick up the same people. That, you know, it's 2 years later and it's like different people, and you know, it screwed a lot of things up, helped a lot of people out.
And people got to remember, like, the entertainment business, like shows, live shows, all that stuff, we were the first ones to be shut down, last ones to get back to work. Like that's kind of how we're you know, some facilities or whatever, like my job, you know, got affected by it and whatnot. It was like, it was really large gatherings, events, and then first ones to shut down, last ones to reopen. But then B, it was like the aftermath of being shut down for the longest period of time. How are we going to make up for that? How are live events still even going to be done? I remember at times like people were talking like everything's going to be virtual after this, and like people are going to buy Meta glasses and you can buy a ticket to a show like in your Meta glasses and go, and it's just like nobody knew, dude. And now it's finally kind of like Stagecoach was just this last week or whatever, and like things are all kind of like rolling again. But yeah, it's you're still seeing some back end effects of the pandemic, which was 5 years ago, and we're still kind of seeing that. It's insane. But just a thought I always think about when people are talking about COVID or whatever, it's like it still kind of like lingers in the back of my mind when I think about my musical journey personally, because it kind of came right in the heart of it, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're the same way.
Oh yeah, big time. That was when I was just starting to get like these bigger festivals, and I literally tried to get back into these festivals when I got back, like when things started getting back, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, it's already booked." You know, like
it's already stuff. Yeah, it's already booked, or we don't have the money or whatever. Yeah, it's like it's they're like, "Oh, well, we're trying to get all these artists, and these artists are charging 3 times they were than a few years ago because they're trying to make up for lost revenue during the pandemic." And it's just like, it's definitely taken its toll, I think, the most on the entertainment industry. And obviously like sports had their kind of like, they could still like air stuff without a crowd and get advertisement money and reel that all in. But like when you talk about touring acts, like artists and comedians and live shows, dude, it's still kind of in a, and then of course like the economy, you know, kind of was in a rough spot the last few years, and people didn't want to spend money, so it was like it was tough for people to spend money on shows too.
Yeah, I think it changed the way, you know, a lot of things are done, but when it comes to the music industry, you know, everything's very, very focused on you know, videos, anything social media. That once COVID hit and that's all we had, I feel like we were so invested in doing it that way that once everything came back to normal, we still did it that way, and that's kind of taken over.
Yeah,
and I think that has a lot to do with COVID.
Absolutely, and it's a feeling out process right now too, just with like a lot of artists, like new artists. They came from like TikTok and stuff like that, and it was kind of the era of the last few years where like every label wanted to sign anybody who had some kind of buzz on like social media. And then it's like, okay, well, how is this going to play out? Like, are they going to really invest in them? Are they just calling dibs on them because they've got numbers? Like, how does TikTok views relate to ticket sales once we get back to live shows? So all of that's still kind of getting ironed out in a sense. Like it's such a odd, strange time in the music industry. But here we are, you know.
Yeah, and we will carry on because that's all we can do.
Carry on. I don't know if we're gonna get flagged for how much I sing covers of songs. Licensing.
I mean,
agreement.
you could Shazam you singing, and it would bring it right up. I mean,
Dude,
it was so good.
That's the thing
perfect.
with me is like I will just like sing random. Like somebody might say like I gotta go to the mailbox, and I'll just start being like, I gotta go to the mailbox right now. And you're like, do you do this all day? They look at like my wife or my brothers or something like that. You have to put up with this all day, and I'm like, yeah, I do.
Hey, that's a songwriter in you. You're just you're constantly thinking.
I live and breathe
and the
music,
artist.
man. I live and breathe it.
In the mailbox. That's actually a really good singing word for like right on a beat.
For sure.
In the mailbox.
And I'm going to the mailbox. You kind of missed that beat, like going to the mailbox. That's just how our brains work,
Hell
folks.
Yeah. All right, 2022.
Back into the timeline.
Yeah. This is the last one, but I was working this day. I remember when this happened. Jamie Johnson got inducted to the Grand Ole Opry.
I mean, you like working there. You see a lot of names over and over coming to play there, and it's like,
yeah. Working at the Opry is really cool because I'm constantly like brushing shoulders with like Vince Gill, Marty Stewart. I mean, these guys, I see them almost every time I work, you know, because they're there so often. Just legends, and sometimes I got to be like, okay, this is pretty cool, you know. Like these are guys that I grew up. These are guys that I grew up listening to, and I'm just walking past them like, hey, you know, what's going on? Like it's like a normal day, you know.
Yeah, so celebrity is kind of a weird, or like idolization of people is kind of a weird thing, a concept to grasp. It's like everybody's just a human at the end of the day, right? It's like you go to the grocery store and somebody's bagging your groceries and you're like, oh, what's up? How's your day going? Like kind of thing. And then you see Vince Gill at the Grand Ole Opry and you're like, well, that's Vince Gill, but it's still just like, hey, how's your day going? You know, it's the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing, but it's just like it's different because of what how they've influenced your life in a certain way.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing to think about. But yeah, so that's basically everything I got for on this day. The Constitution was drawn up in 1787 on this day too.
Was it really? The U.S. Constitution?
Yes.
Not the other one that I'm thinking about.
Delegates gather in Philadelphia.
In what, 80?
In 1787.
87.
Yeah. Today.
I always wonder this, and this is not country music related or anything related. This is my trivia brain. What do you think it was like living in that 10-year period where it was like Articles of Confederation, like before they had the U.S. Constitution? Like, that's just such a wild time that we never learn about in like the history books.
Actually, the Wild West, and
Bro, yeah.
Like, I don't know if anybody has anything from then. You know,
everything
like
we know.
How do you know?
In history was like, won our independence, Constitution, Bill of Rights, greatest country on earth ever since then. You know what I mean? It's just like, well, there was like a decade of like trying to figure it out, and like all the states were just like almost separate countries at one point. It's wild to think about, and just a tangent for another time, but it's just like, what was that like?
Yeah, it's hard to even like think about. It's hard to comprehend.
Things Anderson sits and thinks about at 3:00 on a Tuesday.
All right. What do you say we jump into another segment? Asking ChatGPT, song titles and what we would do with those song titles.
I love it. There's kind of a stigma around like, oh, ChatGPT can write these songs or whatever. People are posting like AI versions of like, write me a country song, and they come up and it's just like, or somebody will write a bad country song and they're like, oh, it sounds like ChatGPT wrote that. But I'm actually curious to see what it comes up with for song titles. And then this is a little bit of insight, background into how Corey and I's brains work as songwriters on what we would do with these titles. Like for a lot of songwriters, and I think a lot of Nashville specific songwriters, like we start with the title, and it's like, how do you kind of mold it into a song? And most of it comes from that key idea of what's the title, what's everything else in the song relating to. So we're going to ask ChatGPT for some song titles here, and we're going to kind of like see what type of ideas we can spin off of them.
Yeah. So I don't want to spend too much time on these because God knows that we would, I mean, when we sit down and just like when we're writing a song, I mean, we'll sit there, 5 hours just racking our brains, just spitting out ideas about that title.
Something. I also think it's very important from like a tip to songwriters, or like just a thought for me and you, like overthinking it. I think that's such a kind of a double-edged sword. Like you want it to be the best it can be, but if you overthink it, then you're asking the listener to do way too much. And it's just like, no, we're listening to music to listen to it. Yeah, like there's so much that you could sit there and try and dissect and like put a math equation to what you're doing, but like sometimes you just got to roll with it.
All right, so let's go through these.
And what was the prompt? What did you type into ChatGPT?
I didn't do anything specific. I just said write me country music song titles. So it gives us different categories: love and relationship, drinking and letting loose, heartbreak and lost love.
All the great song categories of country music right here.
Some of these are going to be very laughable. And so sometimes that's what makes a country song too, is just like the cheesiness of it,
For sure.
And that's what ChatGPT is thinking right now, for sure.
Okay, let's start. Heartbreak and lost love. We've got Whiskey Don't Lie, She Took the Dog and the Silverado, Cried All the Way to Texas, Ain't No Cure for Missing You, Last Call, First Heartbreak. I like to play on words there, last and first. I think the best one is probably Ain't No Cure for Missing You. Like there's some titles that when you say it, you can immediately think of a melody, and I can just hear like, ain't no cure for missing you. And then like before that, this is the songwriter style. So like, you could do like there's cures for everything. Like I can do this to what, like I can fix this. I can fix a broken fence. I can take Advil when I've got a headache, whatever it might be, like simple things. And then you spin it into, but there ain't no cure for missing you. Like that's what I'm doing right now.
And I honestly, when I look at this title, I think of it more as a hook than a song title. I feel like if we were gonna be titling this, it might be shorter, like Ain't No Cure.
Sure.
Or maybe just missing. I don't know about Missing You, but
I think Missing You would be tough just because it's such a like common thing to say. But Ain't No Cure is a pretty good.
That'd be cool.
Pretty good like short title, and then maybe even if it's just Ain't No Cure.
You could almost do parentheses too, like Ain't No Cure for Missing You, like, because I hear it like it's the hook, so it's like kind of like you sang it, like ain't no cure for missing you, like it's.
I can drink to have a good time. I can summon on the outside, but there ain't no cure for missing you.
Yeah. That's definitely like one of those I can't do that, or like I can do I can cure this, I can cure that, I can fix this, fix that, but I can't fix the missing you.
I like when it just takes like the general fit of country music, like, oh, you know how you make a country song happy? You play it in reverse, like you get your dog back, you get your truck back, all that stuff. It like takes that idea and then it spits out like she took the dog in the Silverado. Like
I know.
That's such a funny like concept. Whiskey Don't Lie, I think, is a good second place for me on this. Like Whiskey Don't Lie, like I think as a songwriter, kind of doing the hook or doing the play on words, you could do something like Whiskey Don't Lie on the floor. Like you could almost make it about yourself too, or something like that. Like I'm doing all these things, but Whiskey Don't Lie. Or you could, I think The Truth like would probably fit in there. Like I paid, $30 for a bottle of Truth because Whiskey Don't Lie, or something like that. Like that's kind of how you would spin that. So I don't think that's like a bad one necessarily.
Yeah.
And Corey and I are going to go back over this episode and probably write a couple of these. We should, and then play it for the audience here.
Oh, that'd be kind of
cool. On the podcast, yeah.
Yeah.
Show them what we do with it. Let's go to Small Town and Country Life, which are, I'll say this, I think this is like my category. I think you're kind of in the same, like.
Original category. Yeah.
Yeah,
like when I was starting to write songs and everything, it's like everything to do with back roads, bonfire, like everything.
It's just like we're middle America guys, so this is kind of like my thing that I want to represent. So like I'm interested to see some of these. I haven't really looked too far into it. Let's see.
Friday, we got
Friday night.
Go ahead.
These are so cheesy, dude.
I know, dude.
Friday nights and tractor lights. Like I could just hear ChatGPT like throwing on a fake country accent and telling us these. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
How about
this?
Or
I can hear Luke Bryan singing it in 2007.
Yeah. This whole category is a Luke Bryan record, dude.
Oh my God, it is.
Track number 2, Friday nights and tractor lights. Track number 7, back roads and barn fires.
Barn
dust and blue jeans, dude. Tell me that's not a Luke Bryan song, bro. Home is where the hay is. That is for sure one.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And then let's make it a little, because we're good Southern Christians. Gravel Road Gospel. We'll throw a couple things about Jesus in there. Okay, I love this category. I hate all of these song titles.
If you were to write like a children's song or something, like a children's country song, like these would be perfect. They have children's books. They should, and they like. Do they have children's country?
I don't know.
I
don't think I've ever seen it.
We could just create the genre.
We could make a lot of money off of that.
Children's country music, just like Bobby Bones does children's books. Oh, he does do children's songs though.
Barn dust and blue jeans. I'll tell you what that means.
I'm just trying to cop out, I'm like, what's the easiest way to make some money on a country song? Oh, a children's song.
All right, I'm skipping all of these. We're going on to drinking and letting loose. We gotta have some good ones in here. Let's see. 2 Shots from Forgetting Her Name. There's something in there, but that's not it. You know what I mean? Like that. There's something in there.
Yeah, you could make it something for sure.
2 shots. You make that maybe a bar fight song. Like I'll give you 2 shots or something. I don't know.
I would probably change it to 4 shots. 4 shots from Forgetting Her Name.
Oh, I see what you did there. 4 and 4.
Yeah.
I like it. Honky Tonk Confessional. I like that.
Sounds like a Brantley Gilbert record if he was wearing a cowboy hat.
Beer Laced Prayers. Interesting. Neon Knows My Name.
That's an oxymoron.
Neon Knows My Name could be cool.
I like that one too, yeah.
Neon, I just like for folks that are listening that are curious about the songwriting process, alliteration is a big thing. Neon knows, like it's not an NN thing, but it's pronounced that way. So like Hardy's very good at alliteration, like buckshot, back road, bomb. Like he'll do a lot of B's in a row, and those weren't.
He's like the Eminem of country music.
Hardy lyrics, but yeah, exactly. So Neon Knows My Name. That's like your alliteration stuff right there. I honestly think the last one is a decent song title. Pour Me One More Goodbye. You could do that into like we're both gonna go our separate ways, but like there's a Luke Bryan song that's kind of like that. It doesn't involve drinking, but it's
Kiss Tomorrow Goodbye.
Kiss Tomorrow Goodbye, yeah. But Pour Me One More Goodbye. You know, you're talking whiskey, you're talking wine, whatever it is. Like, come on over, let's do this one more time. Pour me one more goodbye.
That would be.
It's a good song title. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it, ChatGPT. Give me more of those instead of Barn Dust and Blue Jeans.
Let's go to this next one.
Love and relationships. This is
we
your.
write a whole lot of these.
This is your Rascal Flatts. Your who else sings kind of Dan and Shay. I don't think they have like any songs about not being in like just relationship type songs.
Thomas Rhett.
Front Porch Promises. Something there.
I mean, you can make some. There's nothing there in the title, but you can make something out of it.
I'm hearing like a young love kind of thing, like a young 17. You know, we made some
we're
front
gonna
porch
get married
promises.
someday.
I think that's more of a, and this is, I do this all the time when I think of something and I'll put it in my notes on my phone. And then I'll go back and be like, I don't know if it's a song title. I don't know if the whole thing could be around that, but it could be a line in a song.
A line in
that
a song.
To me sounds much
right.
more like a line in a song. Like, we made some front porch promises.
But little did we know we were just making front porch promises. You know,
that'd be the way to spin it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think you would do like, baby. You know, in the beginning of the chorus, like, baby, we're gonna have a wraparound porch someday. We're gonna have all this and that, and I mean, you could tie that in there too. Front porch promises, you know. But we're gonna have dogs running around the yard. We're gonna have a couple kids. It's gonna be like painting the perfect picture. But you're only 15 years old, and you guys were all you were doing were making front porch promises.
Let's see. That Smile. Where's my last name?
It's a little on the nose.
Yeah, a little too on the nose. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's handing the listener. I don't know. I don't like it.
Me neither.
You had me at Go Dogs. I didn't put Georgia in there. Gee. Why?
I guess.
Why does everything have to be fucking Georgia in country music?
It's all. You had me at Go Dogs. I fell in love right then and there. Yeah, I mean, college football in the South is what you write country music about. Tennessee Orange, Alabama. Riley Green's got all these Auburn, Alabama songs.
Yeah.
All of that. Not a great title. At least not for me. Maybe somebody specifically from Georgia or a big Bulldogs fan. I got no ties to that, so. Her Boots, My Heart. Not loving that.
You could do There Goes Her Boots, and There Goes My Heart.
There you go, Corey. Way to make a crappy song title into a good one. I could definitely see that. But yeah, Her Boots Are Made for Walking, kind of like spin a little bit. Like, yeah, there goes her boots in my heart. Wow. Apt analysis.
Rodeo in Her Eyes. This is a Cody Johnson song.
Yeah, I can see that. Ian Munsick, someone like that.
Or Ian Munsick.
She's got rodeo in her eyes, kind of like a Wild Child sort of thing. Like you could lace it with all the like rope, and she's crazy as riding a wild bull. Yeah. I wonder, would you run out of things though? Would you run out of things about the rodeo?
The rodeo.
That's a tough thing when you're talking about like laundry list type songs, and not that like Grandpa's Never Died. Great song, but it's a laundry list. You kind of just list like things.
And yeah, it's crazy to me that those songs still work. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, and then but specifically because there are like there are songs like A Beer Can by Luke Combs, or I'm trying to think of a few others that do wrap the hook back in. They're kind of like a laundry list, and then it wraps the hook back in. Grandpa's Never Dies just never really does anything with Grandpa's. It's just a laundry, and like I said, it's still a great song, and Riley, wrote that one on an airplane or something like that. But it's like those type of things. So like riddling all the rodeo things into her personality, you really have to have like a long list of things that you could put in there to describe significant other or a girl's personality, and then you maybe something with the eye, like I can see it. I don't know. It's
rodeo in her eyes. She's just a wild child, man.
Right.
I don't think it'd be a laundry list song. I think it's just maybe, but you still got to tie it to rodeo somehow.
Right. And I guess maybe laundry list was like a not the best term to use for that, but it is just like rodeo specifically is the thing that you're kind of like comparing her to. She's a wild child, but you would probably go into it thinking like yeah, she's as wild as riding a bull, or like she roped me in, she's racing, barrel racing through my heart, or something like that. Like those are kind of the things that you would maybe describe it as. She's always like rodeos are traveling or coming, once a week, that type of thing. You just have to be careful with that, with how many things you can use in a certain sense to like describe it.
Definitely.
What is this?
Yeah, I'm not gonna get. I was gonna say I'm not gonna get caught up on that one because my brain is literally just like, all right, what can I do with this now? And I'm in like writing mode.
Yeah, I know, but I think we both are right now.
On.
Like, are we doing a podcast or writing a song?
Speaking of moving on, we got resilience and moving on category next.
Dirt on my hands, fire in my soul. Again, that's more of a line, not a great line, but I don't see that as a song title.
Yeah, those two don't really have anything to do with each other either. Dirt on my hands, fire in my soul.
Unless you're like fired up to like start your family's farm or something. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what that would be. Does that make sense? Like,
I just call Anderson in the morning and I'm like, hey man, what's going on? And you're just like, dude, I am fucking hyped right now. Like,
I got dirt on my hands and fire in my soul, baby. I'm starting this thing up. I'm gonna hand it down to my kids.
The funny thing is, I mean, you can take any song title, anything that's cheesy, anything, and make it a good song. So that would actually be a kind of a fun exercise. Take something that's really shitty, like a very bad song title, and then just make it good. That'd be fun.
Let's see, made of mud and muscle.
Damn,
that's probably an even worse way to say what you just said in 21.
This is like a theme song to a Tough Mudder or something,
Next one,
or a
could
Chevy
be a
commercial.
Cody. Yeah, I was gonna say it's either a Chevy or a Ford commercial or a Cody Johnson song.
Oh no, the next one is
Built Tough, Broke Easy.
That's definitely a Ford commercial.
Built Tough, Broke Easy. Yeah, that's
it's
got
built tough,
F-150 written
easy.
all over it.
I
don't think Ford needs to do any more license agreements with artists for their music. They just need to license ChatGPT to write them their new theme songs.
But Built Tough, Broke Easy is kind of like a gentle giant, like those big guys that you see, but they're really just soft people. You could be talking about a guy that's like, he's the toughest dude, and like he's the mechanic of the town, whatever. And he's just like tough as nails, but he's a soft.
He's a
dude.
Softie.
Yeah.
Comes in and yeah, you can do it. It's like a horse type of thing too. Breaking a horse. Yeah. Different ideas. We just throw shit at the wall and hope it sticks. Still kicking in these boots. Man, it's just a country song right there.
That's Luke Bryan again.
I'm still kicking in these boots. Yeah, I don't love that one. Rain don't rust a heart like mine.
Rain Don't Rust is kind of a cool title in itself.
Yeah, there you got some more alliteration in there. That one out of any of these, I could probably see the idea for the song. I don't know if it'd be great, but I could at least see an idea.
Yeah, Rain Don't Rust a heart like mine.
Because it's rust and everything else, but I've been through it, you know. It ain't gonna.
Right.
I got rust inhibitor on this heart of mine. But, okay, so that was what, 25 song titles that we just went through. What would we pull out? Like probably 4 or 5 that you could actually maybe.
Yeah, I wrote down 2 that would actually be fun to write. That's Neon Knows My Name and Rain Don't Rust.
I think Pour Me One More Goodbye would be a smash if you did it right.
Yeah, One More Goodbye. Pour me one more goodbye.
Pour me one more goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of...
Before you go,
do a lot of fun things with these.
It's interesting. A couple lines in there, too. Not great lines, but a couple good lines.
Yeah. So I think if we do this again, this segment, we should type in, like, specifics for next one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can get really specific with it. Like, yeah, I don't know. We'll figure that part out. We'll probably cut me saying that out. Yeah, and then maybe we'll take one of these songs, write it the next day or later in the week or something like that, and give you guys a snippet of what it would sound like. I don't know. Do we have to put ChatGPT in as a writer? Credit him, them.
I don't think so.
They them.
I don't know. I don't know how this shit works yet. We'll find out because people are gonna really be using this shit, and there's gonna be laws. But
well, that's what, like when I said forward licensing ChatGPT for their for their theme songs. Like, dude, people can do that now. You know what I mean? Like if Ford didn't want to pay, well, who's Lainey Wilson's with, like, Ram or something like that, isn't she? Or has some kind of like, I don't know what that dollar amount is, or to use a song or whatever. That's all called sync licensing. When a commercial TV show uses a song from somebody, no matter how loud or quiet it's playing, they have to pay that artist in order to get their catalog or song or whatever it is to put it in there. Some people, some very, like, it's very lucrative from an artist standpoint. But the TV shows, like, a Netflix show or Yellowstone, for instance, or whatever it is.
I feel like Yellowstone was one of the first, like, big sync in country music.
In country music opportunities, for sure. Yeah. I know a couple years ago, the Ranch, Ashton Kutcher Netflix show. A lot of people were kind of trying to sneak in there, more of a comedy, but not, a serious, like, launching point. Yeah, Yellowstone was for sure, like, a big one, if not the biggest, where everyone's like, this song would be perfect for Yellowstone. Like,
right, and that's kind of where big money is at too. If you can get your hands in a sync deal of some sort on a popular TV show or a commercial of a popular brand, a lot of money kind of gets thrown in there. And then also publicity, that a lot of artists kind of launch a lot of their careers off, a good amount off of getting their first sync deal.
Well, and you can get a sync deal with a TV show and then maybe get put, like, that's what happened with Lainey with Yellowstone. She got put in as a character. There's a new show on Netflix, Josh Duhamel, Ransom Canyon, I think it's called. Charlie Crockett was actually doing like a concert on there. So you get those type of opportunities too. And Yellowstone's had, I think, Turnpike was just on the last season. Shane Smith and the Saints has been on there before. Ryan Bingham, a great example. He was on there.
He is a Grade A example.
Yeah.
Also, one that went from actor to artist, Luke Grimes.
Luke Grimes, yep.
And he has a great voice. I don't know how much of the writing he actually does on that stuff.
From what I've seen, he has had some writing sessions with those guys. Like I think he wrote a couple songs with Ernest or with, that kind of crew. But yeah, you always do wonder. So like a Theo Von, right? Like if he ever wanted to get into country music, like he's buddies with all of these people. I would be curious, and I'm sure this is kind of like the point you're alluding to, is like when you go into those writer rooms, how much are they, giving to? Michael Chandler's a good example of this. I'm a big MMA fan, and Michael Chandler is a fighter in the UFC lightweight division. He lives in Nashville. And does a lot of training there, but he's starting to write. I think he just wrote one of Red Farron's new songs on his, I think the title track is his record. Yeah. But I'm curious, like, how much, are these people contributing? Not to say that they wouldn't be great songwriters, but it's just kind of a, it's like how much are they?
In the songwriting world, we always say a word is a third. So, you got 3 people in the room writing a song. If you contribute anything, I mean, you're technically, you get a third of that song.
Which is a Nashville specific kind of songwriting. I know in LA they break it down more so to like what percentage did you contribute to, and that's kind of where the difference comes from. It's like, yeah, it's great. I had a lot of lines in that song, so I get a higher percentage, but at the same time, I like the Nashville way of doing the word is a third, because it's like, hey, if you didn't say something 10 minutes ago that all of a sudden triggered my brain to say this line, I would have never thought of it. So it's like, to me, if you're in the room and you're at least speaking and contributing to conversation or whatever it is, like, you deserve just as much credit as everybody else.
Exactly. If you're walking in, if you have 3 people that are supposed to be writing together and one doesn't show up, you might not have the song, whether or not that person contributed or not. But just like you were saying, like just in conversation when we're sitting around talking, something might spark, like, holy shit, that's a great idea, like 100%. We should write that. And that guy that was supposed to be there never ended up saying that because he wasn't there, so there's all these contributing factors when it comes to writing a song.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird like thought process of just creation in general and ideas. Like, you're really like, I mean, the average person has like 30,000 ideas a day or something like that, and it's like when you're talking about writing a song and where are all these ideas coming from and whatever, it's just like, it's a crazy process to like take an empty canvas and have 3 painters or 4 painters on it versus having one person, just sit down with a painting and paint something out. It's like you've got 3 or 4 people all shouting different ideas, or like, it's tough to compare it to anything else, really.
Yeah. Yep, that's for sure. Well, I suppose, I mean, we're at 110. I think that's pretty good. Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll cut all that out. All right, so more segments to come. I think today was a good one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're listening right now, don't forget to share it with a friend. You get a lot of, I mean, we gave away a lot of insight here. We pulled back the curtain a little bit on some songwriting processes and how the business works a little bit, sync licensing, songwriting, credits, all of that good stuff. Some country music and just world trivia on today's episode, which I always love, and I'm hoping to do more of that. But we appreciate you guys for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. You can find us anywhere you're streaming podcast. We'll have the video version out here. Follow on Instagram, all the socials. Send us an email if you want to as well. If you want to hear any new segments or any kind of specific music industry insights, anything you want us to talk about, we're open to suggestions.
Yeah, all of that information will be down in the bio below this video on YouTube. Otherwise, it's in our bio on Instagram. And we're all our socials, really. So
yeah, follow
us know
Corey,
if you got any ideas.
follow myself. We appreciate you guys. Check out our upcoming tour schedules. We're both going to be on the road a lot this summer, so come see a show. We'd love to see you guys and talk with you. So until next time, we're signing out.
All right. Peace.